Away, Morris is second, and a first down at the 29-yard line. Play action, and going deep for Jackson. Touchdown!
What a great throw by Matt Hasselbeck. Down the field, watch where this ball is thrown. It's thrown low to the outside. Ryan Clark doesn't have a chance to make a play on that ball. A last-second adjustment by Darrell Jackson.
Hey guys, Josh Kasparik here. And this week in Offense in a Snap, or The Offense in a Snap, I will get that title right eventually. I wanted to take a look at the offense and a few simple things we can do to fix it. If I was Darrell Bevell, these are things I would do to fix our struggles on offense, because we've talked about it enough. We've talked about the things that are wrong with it enough. We've talked about young wide receivers. We've talked about a struggling quarterback. We've talked about a struggling offensive line. So in this piece, I have 3 specific ways to fix this, plus talking about play calling in an offense that I believe is simplistic and doesn't utilize ingenuity the way it should or could to be more effective. So there are 2 places I want to improve the offense. This is in deep passing and red zone efficiency passing. Because one of the things that we know and we've seen repeatedly this year is that red zone offense in terms of passing touchdowns has been very poor, particularly in the wide receiver core. So let's get started very quickly. I've posted the first video is of course the 2 plays from 1983 with Dave Prague, and this is the best example of combination play calling that I could bring to you. Now, I know people are going to say, but nobody has Steve Largent on this team, and I certainly agree. But I want you to take a look at the 2 plays in this video. And the reason is, if you look at the 2 plays that are called, one is a square-in pattern, a 15-yard square-in, and the next play that Largent runs is a corner route for about 35 yards. So the first play is a 3rd and 2. That's the square-in pattern. They utilize the over-aggressiveness of linebackers playing Kurt Warner to clear the space for this, or at least hold the linebackers long enough for the route to develop. What winds up happening, though, is that the first play sets up the second. If you watch the square-in pattern and you watch the position of the defenders on the replay, you'll notice that the safety holds his ground tight to Largent over the top and doesn't realize, as Largent sells an outside move at the top of the route, and God, if I had a nickel for every time Largent sold an outside move on a defender, he's going to sell an outside move at the top of the route, then he's going to cut inside. And the safety, who should be over the top here, can't get over the top, and the corner has outside leverage against the route, so he can't affect the play either. So that's just the first play. The second play is created by the first, though. If you watch the replay of the 35-yard route that Largent runs, okay, the end result is a full 41 yards of route to completion in terms of run after the catch and things. So if you look at the corner route that Largent runs and the previous route, and watch him get inside on the first move to set the first part of the corner route up, and then cut up field, both the corner and the safety now believe that he's going to run another square in pattern. They believe he's going to run the same route on the other side of the field. And because they do, they're over aggressive to the inside. And this sets up a huge throwing lane for Dave Craig. This is all about play calling and setting up plays that connect to each other. Think of play calling as a linked chain. Each play is important. I apologize for the sound there. Each play links to each other, and each play should have some purpose based on a result that you get. Now, sometimes you can't find that rhythm, and when you can't find a rhythm, plays like this can't happen back to back. But I don't see a lot of that flow of play calling. I see a lot of simplicity, a lack of ingenuity, and a lack of guts, to be honest with you. Because if you look at this set of plays as we get started, both plays are deep passes. Though the first play almost never happens, as Largent makes an incredible catch as Dave Craig tries to take his kneecaps off. But that play is thrown on 3rd and 2. Okay? That particular pattern is thrown on 3rd and 2. The second play is thrown the very next play, so it's 1st and 10. And it's specifically thrown because of the previous completion. Okay? So now you have that set in your mind. So that's play calling, and that's something I think we can all say has been very poor this year. So now let's go on to the things that I think can automatically help your red zone passing efficiency and produce touchdowns, and also help your deep passing game going forward. And to open that up is pump fakes. Pump fakes should be utilized a little more often on this team. Russell Wilson only seems to utilize them when he runs. You don't see them on play actions. You don't see them in situations of double moves often. So I'd like to see a few more of those, and below are 2 examples of good pump fakes. The first one, of course, being the famous touchdown catch in the NFC Championship game by Darrell Jackson. And if you watch this, I'm sorry, I'm actually missing the replay from this particular play. But if you watch it, Matt kind of exaggerates the throw here. But it's completely sold by the fact that Chris Gamble jumps the quick route on the little bit of a freeze in the running game. So he kind of freezes just a little bit too, thinking it might be a run, then bites hard on the pump fake of a hitch route. Oh, I do have the replay. Well, there you go. So I'd like to see more pump fakes. We shouldn't go full Seneca Wallace here, but Seneca Wallace is actually a good example. If you remember back, I don't have a video of it, but Darrell Jackson's 40-plus yard touchdown reception in that game was on a pump fake by Seneca Wallace. But as I said, Seneca Wallace tended to pump fake everything. I believe he pump fakes even when he puts the toilet paper roll on a new toilet paper roll on the ring there. You know, he tended to pump fake everything. But if you use like 5 or 6 of these a game, I wouldn't be mad, especially if you're going to utilize double moves. This is one thing that could help your deep passing game. But also, if you watch the second video here, It's Steve Largent catching a touchdown versus Denver, and it's going to get right into my next set of plays. Also, if you watch the play, it's just a simple 3-yard touchdown to Steve Largent, and it's a pump fake, and they use motion. Now, in this case, I didn't get the entire play, so I apologize. It's very hard to cut video sometimes for me, but Largent actually comes from the entire the complete other side of the field across the formation, and you'll notice that when he gets to where he's supposed to be, they snap the ball as he's parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's not actually facing the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. This also prevents the defender from being completely able to square him up. Okay? You can't go shoulder to shoulder with Steve Largent in this position. So this is, I'll get into some of the motion stuff and combination routes in the next video clip. But in this case, the utilization of the pump fake. Let's talk about motion and combination routes. We just saw motion on the previous play I showed you. But I want to show you in this video of Largent versus San Diego, there are a few plays that are good here. Now the second one, you won't be able to see it, but I'll be able to describe it for you. The first touchdown, when you start the video, designing a pass offense that could be featured without the running game. You'll notice that Daryl Turner and Steve Largent are outside the numbers, so they're both in the tight to each other on the outside. And what you're going to see, and they're in the red zone again. Okay, so play this out. And what you won't see on the all the replays will exist will be here, so you'll be able to see the plays. But watch the fact that Daryl Turner cuts underneath Steve Largent to run a post pattern. Okay? So right at the snap, or right before the snap, Turner will go in motion. Now, as far as I know, motion is still legal with one player before the snap. The problem is a lot of teams have surrendered that idea for this quick screen stuff. Rather having their receivers squared up with defenders to be blockers so that they can run quick screens and different things like this. So if you watch that first play again, basically what's going to happen is as Turner cuts under Largent and runs a post route to draw the defenders, because Turner is the fast guy who also has a 6'3" frame, so they're going to double him. This puts the corner that has to guard Largent in an impossible situation of defending a larger outside of the field. And especially if it's man-to-man coverage, which you'll see in the second play. Now, neither of these plays is caught well, but okay, the second play starts at 28 seconds in the time of the video clip. If you want to stop the audio any time to catch these plays, you can. So if you watch the play at 28 seconds, what's going to happen now is instead of Daryl Turner coming in motion, he's actually going to just run the same pattern straight up. He's going to run up and outside. This is going to take one defender, and then Largent's going to run right behind it. So Turner's going to run up the field. Largent's going to run an out pattern. This is man-to-man coverage. And Craig's going to throw to Largent, and Largent's going to score the touchdown. Now, you'll see Largent's route on the second play. And one thing I've noticed about Russell Wilson, especially in the red zone, is that he has a tendency to avoid throwing short in the red zone. What I mean is, or avoid throwing short, is that he wants to go to the end zone, especially on third down. If, it's like 3rd and 6, he'll gun for the end zone. This play here, this second touchdown, was on a third and goal, I think it was. It may have been 2nd and 8. But one of the things I have noticed about Russell Wilson is that he won't throw the short passes in the red zone and let his receivers go to work. And he doesn't make the decision very quickly. So one of the things you could do instantly to improve your red zone efficiency is get his tendencies to change a little bit there. Okay? So the third touchdown, because there's 3 in this video, the Largent versus San Diego, and that one starts at 1:12. So I'll let you guys catch up, or you can stop the audio and watch the play for yourself. This one, Craig's gonna get under pressure here. He's gonna scramble a little bit, and Largent's gonna be cutting across the formation and catching a pass. Now what you're going to see here, the replay is the best way to see this, and it's a great throw by Craig. It's a great decision. It's a great play by Largent against man coverage again. Craig knows he has the play. As Largent comes across the formation, he anticipates it. He's throwing the ball well before Largent's even in the screen there. And I'd like to see some of this. If you're gonna have Russell Wilson running bootlegs, let's try some stuff to the left. Let's try, bootlegs to the left. I know that sucks. I know that isn't the way you'd want to do it because it isn't his dominant side. But let's try some of that too. And maybe you'll get some deeper passing opportunities if you do it that way. Because, see, Craig's moving to his left. He anticipates and throws an expert pass for a 16-yard touchdown on this final play here. So, that takes care of 2 things. We have motion and combination routes. We have pump fakes. And they both address sort of the red zone stuff. I think pump fakes also help you on deeper passes if you want to run double moves. So the last thing I want to tackle in this piece is play action and launch point. So what I mean is move the pocket some. When Seattle couldn't block for deeper passes, they would typically, when they knew they had the advantage, one of the things Holmgren would do is move the pocket or run specific types of play action. So he might run a play action with like a run left or a run right or a draw play, just different running type sets. So you wouldn't call play action from the same place. So Matt Hasselbeck could come out, maybe bootleg a little bit, but it's not a naked bootleg like what we see with Russell Wilson all the time. So if you watch the first play here, this is of course more of an example of seven-step protection. this is a full 7-step drop, and I want to illustrate this for a very good reason, okay? A lot of people are looking at this 7-step protection for Seattle right now and saying, it's not that good, and, we've seen it fail over the last 3. There's been 3 losses against Dallas, against San Diego, and against Kansas City, where Seattle just flat out couldn't block a 7-step drop. And I want to show you something. This Joe Jurevicius TD against the New York Giants. Okay? This is a 7-step drop on just a 38-yard pass. Now watch what happens. Matt Hasselbeck has just hit his back foot. Okay? And he's going to throw to Joe Jurevicius here. But I want you to look at something. This is the best pass pro line in the NFL during 2005. Okay? They're pretty good. They gave up a total of 24 sacks all season. So, Matt's just loading up, and I paused it at 5 seconds. And I want you to realize that. He's hit his back foot, and look at this. There's already 2 guys that are free in this situation. There's 2 guys that are free. Locklear's beat, Tobeck's beat inside. And Hasselbeck has barely set his feet to make this throw. Okay? And he's going to have to hold it for just a little bit longer before he makes the toss. Once he does, Jurevicius is open. But as you can see, blocking a 7-step drop is hard against good D-lines anyway. But it's also bad if you don't have the personnel that is athletic enough and agile enough to block for them. So while a lot of people are saying, well, they blocked 3-step and 5-step drops fine, 7-step drops are a different animal when you're trying to throw deep. And you just need different guys. You need, stronger, just guys that are more aggressive and agile in terms of pass protection. And Seattle just doesn't currently have the ability to run 7-step drops straight up. So this section of plays is really about talking about the problems of deep passing versus, some of the things you can do to fix it. Now, the next play here, after the Jurevicius TD, is the D-Jack touchdown to the Redskins. And I want you to look at this play specifically because this is Seattle had tried to run play action some during this game, and they'd been unsuccessful. As you can see, I want you to look at the clock really quickly, the game clock, before you start the clip. It's 3:32 in the second quarter, and there's 0 points on the board. Okay? They're at the 21-yard line. This is just a straight play action with everybody up at the line of scrimmage. Sean Springs is going to bite on the run here, and he's going to release Darrell Jackson's deep route to the safety. And the thing that I love about this particular play is this is also a really good example of intuition by the receiver. Okay? This is good intuition. This is the quarterback and receiver knowing exactly what they have and knowing what they need to do to find success. So, if you watch the deep drop on the play action here, and notice that the way the play action works, they're not necessarily running a bootleg here. Matt Hasselbeck gets very deep on this throw, and he never has to turn his back or come out of a break or something like this. This is just a straight drop, turn his shoulders, fire the ball to Darrell Jackson, because they both know that if they freeze Sean Springs, there's going to be nobody but Darrell and the safety, and there's 2 guys On the '05 Seahawks, you didn't want one-on-one with the safety. One was Sean Alexander and the other was Darrell Jackson. So, again, watch the deep drop by Hasselbeck. Okay, so right at the start of the play, he's going to get back, he's going to get super deep, and he's going to turn his hips and fire the ball. We haven't seen Russell with a straight drop play action very often. A lot of times it's out of a roll, it's out of, some kind of motion. Now, I'm not saying that straight play action drops don't happen, but I'd like to see more of them like this. I'm just going to keep watching this play. I got to tell you, Darrell Jackson was one of my favorite players, so any opportunity to get him, coverage is golden to me. So I want you to look at the last video I've included of the miss to Paul Richardson on a play action. And I wanted to show you it for a reason. I wanted to show you that Seattle does have the personnel to throw deep. And if you have a guy like Richardson, you can do things like run combinations, have pump fakes, and utilize his ability to run down the field more effectively than we're currently doing. And you can do it in terms of, I think, you could run deep play actions that function like 7-step drops. And I just think there's a lack of ingenuity on this team. There's a lack of ingenuity in the offensive office. There's a lack of ingenuity in the play calling, as in it doesn't connect to itself. Like if you had a chain, Seattle's chain would be a bunch of broken links, and somebody would walk in and go, "What happened?" So this is my breakdown. This is the things that I think can make the offense better. I'd love to know what your feelings are looking at these plays, and if you have any questions, clarifications that you want me to make, please leave it in the comments so I can get to it. I will be watching it over the next couple of days, so make sure to check back in this article if you want to get clarifications and things, or if you think there's an addition, something simple that I missed that probably could improve the offense with the current personnel. We don't want to talk about adding players, subtracting players. We don't want to get into rosterbation, as it's called. We don't want to get into, do we need to replace this player? Let's not do that. Let's really focus on things we can do now to fix this offense. And I'd love to hear your comments and what you think. And that'll wrap it up.